ITV.ie and Irish News Radio. We're going to have a quick look at the news. We will be talking to the wonderful Eileen tomorrow, and I will try and ask her about Gareth Fitzgerald, because there's somebody that's asked me about Gareth Fitzgerald and Charles Haughey. So I will ask her. I haven't had a chance to actually even read anything in there because there's so much happening nowadays. I think going back that far is getting lost in more muck, but as things are so messy these days, really horrendous. Right, we're going to have a quick look. So in the last 20 days, there has been 122 Islamic terrorist attacks in 21 countries, in which 859 people were killed and 844 injured. And there's no crazy outcry, and these are Christians killed in Islamic countries by Islamic militants, or whatever you like to call them, and nothing has been done. 6 Christians, including 9-year-old, killed in a recent attack in a Christian village in the Republic of Congo by Islamics. Again, nothing done, people. Like, in the last 20 days, 122 Islamic terrorist attacks. 21 countries. Where's this on the main news? Where is it? The UN talking about this? The EU? Anybody? Any countries coming out and saying what a disgrace this is going on? Anybody wearing crosses like the bloody idiot in New Zealand, wearing her hijab and having an Islamic prayer, saying Allah is the only God? Like, this is ridiculous. When it's Christians who are the most persecuted of all religions in the world. And there has been 859 killed in 20 days. This is crazy. And more than crazy. This is just sick, because you don't want to hear, because a lot of them are black and brown people, and people want to give that image that, you know, good black and brown Muslims, bad white people, when it's not that at all. The left are completely morally bankrupt. They just get worse, and this is our really problem with Islam and with everything else that's going wrong in our society. It's because of the leftist scum that are running everything. The new so-called feminazis, and that's what they are. They're feminazis. They're not feminists. They complain about men opening doors and and, you know, having respect for women. And they want us all one gender. Like, it's not possible. We are completely 2 different genders. And there's strengths and weaknesses with both of the genders. And by pushing men not to be men and not allowing them to do manly-ish things is wrong. You're turning everything upside down on its head, which is obviously what you want to do. But that makes the world a worse place, not a better place. It's not safer for children or women. And men are frightened to stand up or protect women because they're afraid that the woman will come along and go, oh, how dare you save me, I can save myself, or even open doors, things, you know, that makes them men. You know, this idea that we all should sleep around and sex should have no values, and then as soon as you get pregnant, just have an abortion. We are living in a world with no morals and no values. No value on life, no morals. And this is why Islam is allowed to destroy everything, and everyone goes, oh, look. Christian, one place over there in the last whatever amount of years, one over there. But, you know, let's ignore all the persecution and all the murder and the genocide of anything else to do with Islam. Oh, yeah. And even though they're attacking 150 times more likely to be attacked by a Muslim than you ever are a Christian, oh, don't worry, that one instant there, we'll just keep repeating it until people believe. It's just crazy. You know, the left is so morally corrupt and bankrupt. 5 women now in the UK have decided to produce a porn, I get this, for their children to watch. Now, how bloody, oh my God, can they get any worse? Like, seriously, what the hell? are you teaching your children about porn for? Like, seriously, why? Now, their excuses for toxic masculinity. Now, I get what they're saying in a way that they go on about, you know, porn is violence and, you know, the women are all submissive and, you know, they're being degraded and humiliated and all that. And they really are, because an awful lot of porn is men get their kicks of watching women. And, you know, the highest watchers of porn is Islamic men. But anyway, they get their kicks of watching women being beaten in porn and being punched and, you know, gagged and, you know, basically being treated as worse than a dog or a slave. It's something, you have them barking, get their heads shoved down toilets. It's really nothing about sex, actually. Porn about violence and how to degrade her in as many ways as you can. It's really like, I suppose, hate on women and, you know, all those ugly men who couldn't get this pretty girl now can get her and beat the crap out of her and make her do disgusting acts. That's my view on porn. Now, I grew up in Ireland, obviously, and when we were here, there was no porn in Ireland. Like, I never saw any porn. I mean, I heard of people saying it, but obviously it wasn't a thing we had here, so I never saw it. And it wasn't something like, I remember talking to European women and they thought I was like a Muslim woman. I was some way suppressed because I'd never seen porn. No, it doesn't mean that you think differently of sex. You discover it in a normal, natural way. And it's not something that you need in your life. So these women to produce porn for their children as if they are going to need porn. You don't need porn. People who've grown up with porn or never seen it, like majority of Irish people my generation, didn't see it. Or if they did see it, it was some stupid magazine or, you know, with a few pictures or whatever. Or the generation above me didn't definitely see it, even a few pictures. I don't think any of them are psychologically damaged, you know. In fact, a lot of them went on to have happier marriages. Actually, if you look at that generation above mine, the majority of them are still married, have had marriages for 50, 60, 70 years or whatever. That generation were more of a success at it, at marriage, where this, like, sex is to be used as, I don't know, some sort of, like, almost like going to the toilet. So that's a release. Okay, bye. Thanks very much for that. I'm off. Like, it's meaningless. And by doing that, we have made ourselves meaningless as human beings. So, oh, right, whoops, I got pregnant by that, you know, toilet exchange almost. I'll have to go and, you know, get rid of my pregnancy. They don't even think of it as a child, because therefore you'd have to put some sort of responsibility on your actions. But since you've no responsibility on your actions of having sex, you've no responsibility on your actions of actually killing the baby, because, you know, it's just a clump of cells, and the night of sex was just, like, as I said, just a release. Like, there's no responsibility. And the leftists really hate responsibility. That's why they hate guns, because, you know, they blame shootings on guns when guns don't have feelings. If you never claim responsibility, you always have to blame everything else. Oh, it was the drink, it was this, it was that, it was, you know, you have to start taking responsibility. And as for teaching men not to rape, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, seriously, if you have to teach men not to rape, there's something very, very wrong in society. Now, they made it obviously for a lot of Islamic men coming in from the third world, you know, how to treat women and all that sort of crap, because of their culture, not their culture, their religion, Islam. Well, it's not really religion, their ideology. Muhammad went to hell, and so majority of occupants, women, were in hell. So I don't think you're going to do much about that. And considering for rape is a crime on the woman because she's now dirty and has to be killed, I don't know how you're going to explain that to them, that they're suddenly, oh, wow, Muhammad was wrong, and everything, my culture and my village and all my family and everything, my past and everything, that's all wrong. Thank you very much for that lesson. Now I'll go out and treat women with respect. Oh, yeah. No, they don't need to wear the hijab Like, it's insane. And then other men who've grown up in Western, if you have to teach them not to rape, there's something very wrong with you. And by having porn, even I couldn't imagine anything worse watching my mother in porn, or me being in porn and showing it to my son, going, here you go, have a look at this. This is fabulous, isn't it? I go, what a fucking crazy idea. The left are just so morally bankrupt that they can't actually understand right from wrong. Porn is just wrong. You can't make it right by being in it and showing your son or your children how to respect women by having sex with, this is the way we do it. You don't do that. You try and teach them. They're going to probably watch it because it's so available now. But if you do, you try and explain to them and you give them guidance of what's going to happen to them. And you protect them as much as you can. But in the end of the day, there's not a lot. But by putting yourself in a porn thing, it's not going to be teaching them anything other than you're a freak. You're a pretty disgusting freak at that. I mean, I do understand that her point is in, that she wanted to make this thing that, so they could see sex as normal. Well, don't go into porn. And what you should be telling your children is don't go on porn. Don't be giving the industry, which traffics women and puts women into danger and is violence, don't give them the money because you're part of the problem. If you start, buying this and subscribing to it, or you're adding to an industry which is very dangerous. It's the same as, I don't agree with, prostitutes. They get beaten up or whatever. So I bought my son a prostitute to teach her how to treat a prostitute. Like, what the hell? Like, seriously, people. The left are so morally bankrupt. They really have no understanding of right and wrong. And, by attacking men who open doors for you, it is a sign that he has respect. That's a good thing. And that's the thing that we should. I'm not saying that he probably definitely has respect, but it definitely has a sign that he has respect as a human being and probably as a female. And that's good. They are strong. And you know what? Men want to be men. And they should be allowed to be men. And we should be allowed to be females. Instead of, oh no, you can't be females, you can't be men. They want to be men and they're born that way. And they should be, a lot of men want to protect and look after women. And that is, that is what they're made. That's what they were built for, and that is what their genetic makeup and their history and everything from our culture, that is what it's been. So you kind of turn it all upside down. No, you don't open doors, don't treat any women with respect, but as long as it's the way we tell you how to treat them, which is basically just weird, like going on a pornography to teach your children. Bankrupt, morally bankrupt, leftist scumbag society that our government, majority of people. But I do think people are getting fed up with this bloody madness. The bankrupt, they really are morally bankrupt. I just can't take any more. And then after that, by the way, have an abortion. And then you wouldn't even know if your child is under 16, she can go off and have an abortion. Now, if she dies, still nobody takes responsibility. Do you actually get a note if she dies, or how will they tell you she died in the abortion? And there is women, and many of them, who die in abortion in the United Kingdom. So I do think that, that having children allowed to have abortions under 16 without parent consent is an absolute disgrace. It really is. It's morally bankrupt that, people go around having sex as if they're going to the toilet and then, killing their baby and taking no responsibility for any of their actions. It's a morally bankrupt society we're living in. Okay, we will go on about, just sick of the left. They really are insane. But we're going to go on about the fear and loathing of Brexit in Ireland. Now, the Germany are really pushing this that the Irish have to, get behind anti-Brexit sort of campaign, which the Irish government are so happy to do because they're such EU rent boy and lapdogs. The whole lot of them are traitors to Ireland. So they've decided to kind of threaten us by saying, you're going to be so heavily affected, 720 billion less off if Brexit goes through. Germany says we will be the second biggest losers if Brexit. Like, this is just trying to really divide Ireland and England. And the Irish aren't that stupid. We may be a little bit feckin' leftist and want to be, I don't know, the head of the feckin' stupid leftist brigade. But they're not that stupid. People will see through that you're trying to create more shit with the Irish and the British. And this time it's to do with money. So Germany is to lose 10 billion if there's a no deal. Let's be honest, the EU doesn't need Brexit to rob us out of any money. They're a bunch of unelected leftist scum like our own government that live off our backs, not to mention the millions Germany are making from our interest loans on our bailout. The EU former MP Michael Portland, Britain has been humiliated by the EU in the same way as Greece and Ireland in the past. Look at its track record. Italy also humiliated a few years ago. Greece was humiliated because France and Germany pushed for the EU that had no place and it couldn't possibly manage. Then they wrecked its economy and impoverished its people. Absolutely shocking. It just goes on. The economy was wrecked and the people were impoverished because the EU want the super state of United States of Europe. And until everybody backs down and the British trying to get their freedom, this is why they will do anything. And I do think, they're not far from actually creating a war with the British. And I actually think they're so egotistic that they would actually go that far to stop the British from leaving the super state, because the dreams of owning Europe without even a bloody bullet is close to falling apart. So they will do everything to stop the British. The treaty. Theresa May looks for an extension to up to April the 12th. The EU made Britain internationally humiliated, from nationally humiliated into internationally humiliated. 100 times they were told they were leaving on this date. Total failure of a leadership. The English are absolutely shocked. Even the people who didn't vote to stay are absolutely had enough in the United Kingdom. It's absolutely shocking what's happening to them. It's terrible, but it is the EU. They go on to say her deal is not a deal, it's a treaty and does not give us Brexit. Brexit in name only. It doesn't leave us free. 500 MPs voted was to leave on the 29th of March. You can see that the British are really, really fed up, and a lot of them are even stay. But even they are, let's get out. This is crazy. George Hook is to front the Freedom for Ireland in Limerick in Erexit. He's a fantastic speaker. Now, the reason why he pulls out, because he has a brain in his head and he questioned the leftist fucking madness on open borders. Now, they went on about he made a comment about rape. Now, he didn't make a comment about rape. What he said was, which I think, he was saying from his heart, from a man of that age, if he had a daughter, that, I can't remember his comments, that, if she's drunk and she's leading on something, that she, have some cop on and take responsibility on her actions. I can't remember exactly his words, but he didn't say that it was okay for her to be raped. But that's not what the leftists were really pissed off. And the truth being known, that George Hook said for ages that this idea of open borders was a disaster, and Myrtle was an absolutely nut for actually bringing this on into Europe, and that it was very dangerous, and that's why the left got rid of it. So absolutely disgracing. Mississippi governor signs a bill banning abortions on babies with a beating heart. Fantastic, and that's a really good move. Again, the leftists will hate that because it's like disposable. They're disposable baby, disposable sex, it's disposable lifestyle. We're all one and we don't have any culture, colour, religion, identity. And this is the left want it all broken down. They're the opposite of what they say. They want diversity. They want diversity broken and destroyed is what they wanted. They want it all plain and the same. And this is why the EU are really pushing for Ireland to try and stop Brexit and the Irish to stop Brexit. They have this feeling that we have some sort of influence on the British. The Irish understand, in a way, the British as much as the British understand. You keep pushing them and you keep pushing us to push them. You'll end up with the opposite reaction. We'll end up very much on their sides because you're pushing us to push them. And we understand we don't like being pushed any more than they like to be pushed. And you keep pushing them and you keep pushing us to push them. So you know what will happen? Will be the reverse what will happen. Majority of Irish people will be standing up for Brexit. The more you keep pushing, the more the Irish will have enough of this. And the more the British will have enough. And you'll find that the British and the Irish will actually stand together because they'll be so fed up with you pushing them on both sides. And that's what will happen. And I can't wait to see that day when the two, Britain and Ireland, stand together and go, F you, Germany. We've had enough of this pushing and using us to attack the British or to break the British down, to step away from Brexit. And as that Michael had said, the MP, the Tory MP, he said, it's not even a Brexit. What she's offering is a treaty that does not give Brexit. It's not what they voted for. It's a Brexit in name only that will leave United Kingdom in the super states of the EU. That is why they will not go for her deal. And that is why they shouldn't go for the deal. If they need another British Prime Minister, then that's what they need to do and get somebody who was truly for Brexit and will give them Brexit. Not that idiot Corbyn from the Labour Party and another because they'll never get Brexit then. They'll be signed into the super states, communism, Islamic state, where they'll all be killed. All the indigenous British will be in danger. And anybody who looks British, including the Irish, you'll all be in danger too. Because you're not what the leftists want. They want you brown and Muslim, or black and Muslim. And that is what they want the new Europe to look like. And anybody speaking out is to be put down in however they can. We've all to lose our countries and be happy about it. Again, thank you for listening on The Bonry Show on ITV.ie. and Irish News Radio, and we'll be talking to the wonderful Eileen tomorrow, and I may ask her some questions about Charles Haughey and Gareth Fitzgerald for the person who keeps asking me what about those days. I haven't looked into it because every day is such a bloody mess in Europe that where there's far too much of a heap of crap going on that our government has put us into. We are enslavement. There's no doubt in my mind we are an enslavement to the EU and its big brother, the UN, which is another bullshit organisation. Again, thank you very much for listening on The Bonry Show. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You are listening to Irish News Radio at irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.